call this meeting to order. Could everyone please stand for the salute to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Statement of adequate notice.
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as follows. On February 3rd, 2015, notice was sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, local source, and the clerk of the municipality. By state law, there is no smoking permitted in this building at any time. In addition to the listed items in this agenda, this Board of Education may discuss and act upon other items not specifically referred to herein as is allowed at the regularly scheduled monthly board meeting under the Sunshine Law.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Ormond?
Here.
Mr. Struzella?
Here.
Mr. Topolewski?
Here.
Mr. Alvarez?
Here.
Mrs. Beviano?
Present.
Mrs. Birch? Here. Mrs. Hudak?
Here.
Mr. Colvis?
Here.
Mr. Russell?
Here. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the work session and regular meeting held on October 19th, 2015?
So moved.
Second.
And a roll call, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Struzella?
Yes.
Mr. Topolewski?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mrs. Beviano?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mrs. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Colvis?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes. Thank you. Comments from the public on agenda items only? Please state your name and address for the record, please. And I will ask for the superintendent's report, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening. As I always like to do, I'd like to give our monthly HIV report. Last month we had 15 incidents reported in the district. 12 of those were not deemed to be HIV and 3 were undetermined. The consequences for those incidents included in the student code of conduct were parent conferences, character ed lessons, loss of recess, and also bias education. And in all instances, the alleged victims were counseled. I want to take an opportunity to wish all of our parents, students, faculty, and staff, and our entire community a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. It's my favorite time of year. It has nothing to do with all the food. Maybe it does, but it really is my favorite time of year, and I think that when we look around the Linden School District, we have a lot to be thankful for, most especially our students and our teachers. Last Friday night I had the opportunity to see the LHS production of A Raisin in the Sun. And for those of you who had an opportunity to see it, I think you'll agree with me that the students were absolutely outstanding. It was like being at a Broadway show. So I want to publicly congratulate all of our students and give a big shout out to Ms. Carteret, who directed the play, for directing such a superb performance. So congratulations to all those students. In the month of December, we have our annual winter concerts at each school, and I would invite the entire community to come out to your local school and watch our students perform. The calendar, dates, and times is posted on our website. Each school will have a winter concert, and I think if you come out, you'll enjoy it and have a good time. I also had an opportunity today to do something that I've been wanting to do for about a year now. And I wanted to create in Linden a student ambassador program with Linden High School students. So today I met with approximately 30 students from Linden High School who are going to be the superintendent's student ambassadors. And their role is to help me know what's going on in the district. I see one of them out there today. You know, as a superintendent, I try to know everything that's going on in the district. It's very difficult in a district of 6,000 students and over 1,000 staff. But what I always find is I'm always most invigorated after talking to students. And so I wanted to make it a regular part of my job, a scheduled part of my job. So we're going to start at the high school this year with the Student Ambassador Program. We're going to meet monthly, or at the very least bi-monthly. And next year we'll move it down to the middle school, and then we'll eventually get some elementary students involved. And their job is to just discuss ongoing issues with me in the district, bounce ideas off of me, ask questions of me, bring issues to me. But most importantly, when I spoke to these students today, I told them, I don't want you to just bring issues to me. Bring issues and bring solutions. Because I know most of the time, our students sometimes have better solutions than the adults. So I'm going to be relying on them. And at some point in the future, maybe near the end of the year, we'll recognize all the student ambassadors at a board meeting. And by the way, they were very happy that they got that breakfast. If you feed them, they will come. Which is a nice segue into our presentation tonight. It is my honor tonight to have 3 of our esteemed social studies teachers from Linden High School to give a presentation to the board and the community on a program that was their idea, that they developed, and that they did on their own time, volunteered their services to teach our students AP history. So I don't want to give you all the details, that's their job tonight. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our teachers, Mr. Mangle, Mrs. Gonzalez, and Mr. Walker. I'd ask the board to come back.
Settled, y'all. Totally unintentionally, the title of our presentation is Field of Dreams reference, which Dr. Rotosa stole from us just a few seconds ago. Anyways, we are going to be giving you a brief, an emphasis on brief, overview of the presentation we gave just a few weeks ago at the New Jersey Conference for the Social Studies teachers. And it is all about how we tried to help our students in increasing college readiness and literacy development at Linden High School through an A-Push curriculum. Just a real quick rundown of who we are. My name is Robert Mangel. This is my 2nd year teaching social studies here at Linden High School.
I'm Monica Gonzalez, and I've been teaching at Linden High School for 13 years now.
And David Walker, and this is my 8th year as a social studies teacher.
Okay, so we're going to run through this as quickly as possible. This program started off as an idea just about a year ago. At this time, a couple of students had come to us and expressed an interest in diving into the AP curriculum, taking the AP U.S. History test, which is a rather rigorous test. So we got the brain trust together, and along with help from our supervisor and from the rest of our department, we were able to begin supplementing the student.
Many students expressed a desire to take the test. However, they were not comfortable taking the test. They did not feel that they were ready. We knew that they could pass the test, but they needed a little bit of confidence. So what we provided for them was a couple of sessions with us and made sure that they felt comfortable when taking the test. This is strictly voluntary, meaning that the 3 of us volunteer on a regular basis, morning sessions, and this year we've added an afternoon session. In the morning, 7 a.m., and it's once a week in the morning and the other time in the afternoon, and students show up completely voluntary. We've also had the opportunity to branch out to the rest of the department, and other social studies teachers have offered to teach specific lessons that they specialize in. So we've brought us all together as a teaching department. Why is it different than CP and the honors classes? One thing we found out, as we're not AP teachers here at the high school, was that we weren't sure what was different. So we've reached out to several AP teachers throughout the county and throughout the state of New Jersey. And what we discovered was that there's a huge emphasis in writing. So we decided to gather our thoughts and come up with a curriculum aligning with the AP curriculum centered around writing. And so that's what makes us unique and different, that we spend a lot of time having students analyze documents and understanding how to write for an AP sort of test. With that, we also dove into several books that we also tell the students that are available to them on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, wherever they may find them. But we ended up getting a few of those ourselves so that we can familiarize ourselves with what is out there for our students.
So, as we were diving into this content, we realized that one of the best ways to structure this had been done for us. And what the AP curriculum uses, not to get too history teacher on everybody, they set it up into different periods. There are 6 different periods throughout the course of AP history, from about the 1600s to today. We usually get up to the 1980s. And these periods are broken up into key concepts, and we decided to use this framework to build our curriculum. So every day when the students come in, they know they are expected, this is the period we're working on today. Here are two or three of the key concepts we are going to be tackling. So, we use these concepts as a way to guide our teaching. Example, real quick again, if we're not to get to history teacher. Key concept 2.2 focuses on the trading relationship between Great Britain and 13 colonies back in the day. And so what this provides, these concepts give us a way to look at and talk about and frame our lessons. So looking at the relationship between Great Britain and the 13 colonies, we can build activities including analyzing documents from both sides. Students, that's a big part of AP. Students get a little bit deeper understanding of the content. So they're looking at documents from both sides. They're able to fully dive into this historical concept. We also use 2 great online sources. The Gilder Lehrman Institute for American History has an 8-push study guide that provides visuals, and videos, flashcards, and all this awesome stuff. I think I've spent more time on it than is probably healthy. And then for getting into, because the AP test is not just writing, it's also multiple choice questions, historical facts, we provide students this type of link to get them to online flashcards. Because even though, one day they're not going to have to know all 44 presidents in order, for the test they may have to know who number 37 was. A big part was getting the word out, because the idea if you know that they will come, they have to know it's there to show up. So we did a lot, and our department was phenomenal. We did morning and afternoon announcements, we did flyers in all of the history classes. Our social studies teachers, the department, our supervisor, did a lot in getting the word out to their students, taking time out of their instructional day to let them know that we were available for the students. We use the wonderful service, remind.com. I think we average about 15 reminds a week to let students know they're coming. 7 a.m. is really early. And we also use our online learning management system called My Big Campus. That allowed us, again, to provide another source for students to remember, to be reminded of our upcoming meetings, but also as a way to distribute learning materials. Meeting at 7 a.m., 45 minutes a week, is not a lot of time, especially when traditional AP classes are looking at 50 minutes a day, 5 days a week. So we emphasize to these students that if they really want to do well on this test, it's important that they take advantage and they look at these learning materials.
By the end of the first year, we had about 9 students who actually sat and took the exam. We were very fortunate to have some earn college credits in the very first year. And it was just very important for us to better understand what we did right in the program and moving forward, what changes we needed to do. So, like good educators, we solicited students for their group. So you can take a look at this one student reaction in this in our survey here. And what was very evident in these responses is it wasn't just about passing the exam, passing the AP test. It wasn't even about college preparation, although that was a big thing. It was about supplementing, like learning more about history, just going almost as sort of a form of supplementation to the curriculum. And they were there, okay? They were dedicated, and to see their dedication just continue to embolden us as well in this program. You can see, many also thought that it would assist them in an interdisciplinary way as well, that learning about history was wonderful, but also that this would translate into other topic subjects as well. And of course, we have a lot of the students love history, and that's a wonderful thing. That's a great way for us as a department to create that passion, hold on to them, because I think so many times we need to have these opportunities. And this was a great opportunity for our students to excel with history and obviously to prepare for the exam. Any questions? Comments? Yeah.
I just want to say I think that what you did is absolutely awesome, and I really, as a parent of a student here at Linden High School, appreciate that you social studies teachers came together, because we sometimes forget social studies. I know we do at the elementary level, so honestly, I would really
Good job.
My daughter's been taking the AP class now for 2 years. Whatever you guys are doing, thank you, because the child does not want to get up in the morning, is at school at 7 a.m. or you're going to his class tomorrow morning. So thank you for, or she had today, I can't remember. But thank you for whatever you're doing, because this is a child who absolutely loves history, and you're reinforcing whatever she's been doing for 2 years now. She loves it. So thank you.
I think it's a yes. Have you talked to any of the other departments about transferring the format that you use in AP tests for the other subject areas? Maybe one of the sciences or one of the maths? We don't have any AP. Do we have any AP maths for science class?
We have some that take it
On their own. I'm wondering whether or not, I think the format that these people use is quite possibly transferable to the other subject areas. I mean, I understand that, with the IB program, we kind of circumvented, especially now that it counts for advanced learning. But, you also have kids that like a particular subject, but are not necessarily interested in the IB.
I think what's amazing here, and I just want to publicly say this, that we have 3 highly effective teachers. And I know that for 2 reasons. One, I'm a former social studies and history teacher. And it is difficult to get students interested in this stuff. It is even more difficult to get them to wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning to come and learn history. When they're not even getting a grade. You can't even hold it over their head. They're doing this because they love their teachers, they're great teachers, and they want to do this because they're getting something out of it. So, congratulations to you guys. Thank you very much. Mr. President, that concludes my report tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Ochoa. Curriculum and Instruction, Commissioner Viviana.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee, upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools and the Assistant Superintendent, present the following 32 motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Items 1 through 6 deal with approval of specialized programs, replacement of classified students, determination of out-of-district placements, the approval of payment for related services as per the child study team evaluations, the assignment of one-to-one paraprofessional, and the acceptance of a classified student on a tuition basis. Items 7, 8, and 9 approve home instruction services provided by the Newark Renaissance House Incorporated, Education Incorporated, and Professional Education Services Incorporated. Item 10 approves the enrollment of a student on a tuition basis as per the State Educational Stability Act. 11 amends board action on past C&I reports. 12 grants permission for use of facilities and school activities. 13 approves district field trips. 14 authorizes curriculum writing. 15 approves acceptance of revisions to curriculum. 16 approves training for district staff. 17 approves an after-school tutorial program at school number 1. 18 approves professional development activities. Item 19 grants permission for Linden resident students to participate in the Inter-District Public School Choice Program commencing 2015-16 school year. 20 approves the payment of tuition for Linden residents, students enrolled in charter schools during the 2015-16 school year. 21 grants permission for a staff member to conduct field work in the Linden Public Schools for the Instructional Leadership Program at Rowan University. 22 grants approval for a student to conduct observation hours with the occupational therapist at School 2. 23 grants permission for the Linden Public School District to be named the Mentor District for the North Main Street School in Pleasantville, New Jersey, as part of the Future Ready New Jersey grant. 24 grants approval to pilot the National Geographic Learning Program for the ESL middle school classes during the 2015-16 school year. 25 approves a contract with LexisNexis Risk Solutions for the 2015-16 school year. 26, 27, and 28 approve the submission of the Non-Public Technology Initiative Program Agreement to the Executive County Superintendent in agreement with Sinai Christian Academy to provide technology for the 2015-16 school year, and the appointment of Mike Walters and William Mastriano as the designated program contacts for the Non-Public Technology Initiative Program. Item 29 approves the administration of the AccuPlacer test for Linden High School students on January 7th, 2016, February 24th, 2016, and March 2nd, 2016. Items 30 and 31 grant approval to participate in the Seal of Biliteracy and authorizes the administration of the World Language Assessments for the examinations for the 2015-16 school year. And item 32 approves the superintendent's determinations and actions taken for all reported incidents of harassment, intimidation, and bullying discussed at the October 19, 2015 regular board meeting. Mr. President, I move curriculum and instruction, items 1 through 32, and respectfully seek a second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Struzella?
Yes.
Mr. Topolesky?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mrs. Fabiano?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mrs. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes, but I abstain on number 16, Rosalia Colobus.
Mr. Russell?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Viviano. Management Operations, Commissioner Hudak.
The Management Operations Committee, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, presents the following motions to the Linden Board, 33 motions to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Numbers 1, 2, and 32 rather, are the passing of retired employees, Dr. Robichaud.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudak. We were deeply saddened to learn of the death of Ann Fortuna, who was a past member of the Linden Board of Education, and years ago had led a petition drive to change the Board of Education from an appointed board to an elected board. Mrs. Fortuna was the first elected board member in 1975, and her term expired in 1977. Mr. Joseph Frederick was a fifth grade teacher at School 5, where he began his career in 1961. In 1978, he was appointed as the computer education teacher for elementary schools 3 and 8. Mr. Frederick retired in June of '91. And most recently, Mary Bodek passed away. And Mrs. Bodek worked as a cafeteria worker in the time when the Board of Education was in charge of the cafeterias. And she provided meals for thousands of students at various schools. She passed away last Thursday, November 19th. On behalf of the Linden School District, we certainly offer our heartfelt sympathies to the families, and please know that our thoughts are with you and your family.
Thank you, Dr. Robertosi. Number 3 are the following retirements to be accepted with regret. Four listed, Dr. Robertosi.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudak. Dolores Krzyzewski, otherwise known as Dee, much easier to say, has worked for the Linden Board of Education as a learning disabilities teacher consultant. She began her career in September of 1999. Mrs. Judith Nigro has worked for the Linden Board of Education for a total of 24 years. During the time, Judy started as a pre-K kindergarten lunch aide, a kindergarten classroom aide at School 6, and in 1998 she was appointed as a full-time paraprofessional. In 2009 she was appointed as a custodian. Virginia Ginny Sliger, who is a living legend in Linden, has worked for the Linden Board of Education for 49 years. Ginny started her career at School 2 and has taught at both Schools 4 and 6. She is still a tremendous teacher who I admire greatly. I had the opportunity to work with her as a principal at School 6, and she will be greatly missed by this district. And finally, Barbara Tibersi has worked for the Linden Board of Education for 30 years. Barbara started her career in 1985 as a phys ed teacher at Linden High School, and in April of 1990 she was appointed as an elementary phys ed teacher. So I want to wish all of our employees a happy and healthy retirement and wish them all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Robertosi. Number 4 is to amend past board action. Number 5 is the resignation accepted with regret. Numbers 6, 10, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31 are all appointments. Number 7 is to approve the transfer of the following staff that are listed. Number 8 is leave of absences. Number 9 is to compensate staff listed for unused vacation and sick days upon their retirement. Number 11 is to approve the following staff returning from their leave of absence. Number 13 is to approve the following musician to accompany all middle and high school concerts for the 2015-16 school year. Number 14 is to approve payment to school number 8 staff for unpacking and setting up a classroom over the summer move from St. Elizabeth School back to the new renovated school number 8 at the hourly rate of $27, not to exceed 7 hours each. Number 15 is the change in degree for the 2015-2016 school year as per negotiated rate. And number 33, it is the recommendation of the superintendent that a criminal charge has been made against a staff member, and he'll be given legal notice of his action unless there is any further cause for action. Mr. President, I move items number 1 through 33 and respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Orman?
Yes.
Mr. Shuzella?
Yes.
Mr. Topolowski?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mrs. Beviano?
Yes.
Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mrs. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Colobus?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Hudak. Support operations, Commissioner Topolowski.
Support Operations Committee, upon recommendation of Superintendent of Schools and Business Administrator Board Secretary, present the following 24 finance motions and 11 facilities motions to the Board of Education for approval. In finance, items 1 through 6 are regular board business dealing with the acceptance of the Business Administrator Board Secretary certifications as of October 31st, 2015. No line item accounts exceed the amount appropriated or over expended. The Board Secretary's report for the month of October 2015. Authorization for the payment of salaries and supplemental payroll for November 2015. And drawing warrants in the amounts specified in favor of persons named and list of transfers and adjustments for the month of October
2015. Item 7 is the Treasurer's Report for the month of October. Item 8, Student Activities Report from Linden High School for the months of June, July, August, September, and October 2015. Item 9 is to amend board actions on past support operation reports in the finance section from May 26th and June 22nd, 2015. Item 10 through 15 are to accept funds in the amount of $5,500 from Infinium USA, $5,115.80 from the U.S. District Court Trenton for the restitution for the Circle Systems lawsuit, $3,717 from Union County College, Cranford for the Adult Basic Skills Grant, $2,300 for the Linden High School Class of 1965 Scholarship Fund, and $14.63 from Ohio File Prince, Ohio File, Pennsylvania. Items 16 through 18 are approved contract renewal with Xerox Corporation under the state contract for a 60-month lease of equipment, a contract with Zendesk, San Francisco, California, to provide technology service work, ticket systems for the district during the 15-16 school year, a total not to exceed $10,500. Excuse me, that was wrong numbers, I think. 15. All right, item 17, I think I got it right now, is to authorize the Business Administrative Board Secretary to close out the following capital projects accounts and transfer the funds to capital reserve. Item 18 is to authorize the Business Administrative Board Secretary to advertise for computer bids for the district's Apple One-to-One technology program in accordance with NJSA 18A, Article 5. Item 19 is to authorize the Superintendent and Business Administrator Secretary to submit a proposal for the purchase of St. Elizabeth's of Hungary Church in Linden based on an appraisal received by the AAI Appraisal Association in Cranford. Item 20 is to approve the submission of the 2015-16 District Report of Transported Student Residents summary report to the Union County Superintendent of Schools for the November 16th deadline. 21 is to grant approval for the Shade Tree Commission to plant a memorial tree honoring former school 10 teacher, Ms. Diane Aslin, at the request of her mother on her wall. 22 is to declare the following as surplus items and equipment to be disposed of as in accordance with District 3260 policy. 23 is to accept bids listed for athletic supplies and equipment for spring sports for the 15-16 school year. The opening date of the bid was November 12th. And item 24 is to authorize the Superintendent Business Administrative Board Secretary to submit a proposal for the purchase of property, other properties, I should say. Items 1 through 11 and facilities are these facilities at no charge as requested by Elena Horry, Principal in high school, Mike Walters, Director of Technology, Anthony Cataline, Principal School 4, Michelle Rodriguez, Principal School 5, Jay Padavano, Chairperson School 9, Class of 2016, School 9 PTA, R. Gomolka, Coach Linden G-Force Reach Program, Peace Saldana, Field Coordinator Linden Youth Soccer, the Kushner Sports Supervisor, City of Linden, Department of Public Properties, and Vigil Troop Leader, Brownie Troop 4104, the Overton Coach, member of Women's Group MSCCC, and M. Morgan Food Services Director, Pontonian Food Services. Mr. President, if there are no questions or further discussions, I move items 1 through 24 for finance and 1 through 11 of facilities for approval, and respectfully seek a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Struzella?
Yes.
Mr. Topolesky?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mrs. Beviano?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mrs. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Colvis?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Topolesky. Planning and Policy, Commissioner Ormond.
Wow, I just have to say that this is going to be my last. I was really meeting, my last one.
Your last planning
My
and
last
policy.
planning and policy
agenda.
agenda, exactly. Okay, the Planning and Policy Committee submits policies for first and second readings to incorporate new features required by code and law, and to elaborate on local district policies. We have for first reading policy 6163.3. This policy has been overhauled to include more specific information pertaining to the use of therapy dogs in the classroom. And for second reading, we have policy 4112.8 and policy 4212.8. They've been revised to include expanded definitions and content on the doctrine of necessity, and the policy was also completely restructured. Mr. President, I ask that policy from first and second reading removed. And ask for a second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ormond?
Yes.
Mr. Struzella?
Yes.
Mr. Topolowski?
Yes.
Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Mrs. Bebiano?
Yes.
Mrs. Birch?
Yes.
Mrs. Hudak?
Yes.
Mr. Colvin?
Yes.
Mr. Russell?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Ormond. And now we'll go into our special committee and delegate report. State Delegate Commissioner Topolowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was a meeting this past Saturday. After recognition of committee chairs and a few brief remarks by President Don Webster, a more thorough address on the status of New Jersey school boards was delivered by Executive Director Dr. Lawrence Feinsod. The main focus of New Jersey school boards is advocacy. There are two main areas that are being looked at. The first is accountability regulations, which will sunset in November of 2016. Those of us who have been involved in school boards know how these regulations are overreaching. A task force has been established to make recommendations to the legislature on changes. The second is recent ethics rulings that have gone too far, causing huge conflicts of interest and the overuse of the doctrine of necessity. Other goals of the New Jersey school boards, other goals the school boards are pursuing is the last in, first out, special ed cap, state mandates and funding, pension reform, funds for technology, and federal advocacies. The school board website is being redesigned, and a new website will be launched in January or February. There are also new online programs for training purposes, which are far more interactive. There's a new board member certification, which can be achieved by new board members in the first 2 years on the board. Finally, Dr. Feinsod talked about ELF, which is the Education Leadership Foundation, that New Jersey school boards partners with business, and the great work that is being done to train school board members. This group funds the new board member workshops as well as the county meetings. The regular business was enacted on. Although 5 resolutions were presented to the Assembly, only 1 was brought before the Assembly. 3 were already covered in the current manual positions and policies on education, and 1 was referred to for action in May. The Delegate Assembly passed a resolution that creates new language that would have the state pay for changes made in the funding of charter schools. What people don't realize is that while funding for public schools is cut, the charter schools still get the same amount of money. And so it winds up really putting an undue financial burden on the various school districts. One of the contributions, a gentleman from South River spoke, where the first year they had contributed maybe $50,000, and the next year they were responsible for $200,000. So that passed 133 to 1. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Topolowski. County Delegate Commissioner Struzella.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Topolowski and I attended the Union County School Boards Association held at Westwood on November 4th, 2015. The agenda was on A, conversation on the Common Core and state standards, presented by Mrs. Kimberly Harrington, Chief Academic Officer and Assistant Commissioner of New Jersey Department of Education. In May, Governor Christie called on the New Jersey Department of Education to review New Jersey core curriculum, the standards in English, language, arts, and mathematics, or, in other words, to develop higher standards that reflect the educational needs and goals of our communities. What are the New Jersey standards? New Jersey Department of Education proposes a standards review process led by professional New Jersey educators that results in the best New Jersey standards for students. New Jersey has a strong history of standards, and our review process will build upon rigor and academic success of our standards. What are the principles and the standards? The review is 1, consistency, 2, focus on the standards, 3, improve what exists today, 4, public input. What are the academic standards? Academic standards describe knowledge and skills a student needs to acquire by the end of each school year. What is curriculum? Curriculum is the school district's plan for day-to-day teachings of the concepts contained in the standards. What does this report mean to you? Basically, expect the Common Core to keep improving for the teachers and students. New Jersey is always looking to improve the standards. New Jersey leads other states in performance with a $13.6 billion towards education. This district and board with Dr. Robertosi will meet the challenge to keep improving their academic standards. Do not let your sons, now this is my opinion, do not let your sons or daughters opt out from your testing. Once they learn from you to opt out, they will always do that for the rest of their lives. If they go to college, they will have to pass their test to receive their diploma. If they do poor on the test, you know that they are not studying or doing their homework. Once you let them opt out, they will always opt out in life. Remember, what does PART mean? Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College Careers. This concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. Ed Services, Commissioner Armand.
No Ed Services report.
Thank you. Any unfinished business?
Yes, Mr. President. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that last Saturday I got back from a 2-week trip to China. Our goal was, I went with Rutgers University, our former superintendent, Dr. Rocco Tomasic, and his wife, plus 7 other educators from different parts of the state. Our goal was to try to find out whether or not we would be able to find some sister schools that we could exchange students with. We made some contacts. We're going to see how far we can get with it. But in addition to that, the trip itself was interesting because it kind of gave us a whole geographical array of the east coast of China. We started in Shanghai, which is the southern part, a very exclusive, very high-end city where education was taken very seriously. Everybody went to school. Then we flew up to Changchun, which is over by Siberia. Now, I was wearing shorts in the morning, and in the afternoon I was wearing boots because it was like 3 inches of snow. And here was the automotive capital of China. And education here plays a very important role, but not as important as in other parts of the country. They had some universities there, they had some schools they wanted to see. One school in particular, and I found this kind of, I guess, an eye-opener. China prides itself on its schools and its academic achievement. There was a class, we counted 53 special ed students of all different types of classifications, all sitting in one class with one teacher without an aide. And, you know, we all said to ourselves, we really wonder what is transpiring there, you know, with so few teachers and so many kids. Because in China, the emphasis is always on the brighter student. At least they're trying. This is better than it was 10 years ago. We ended our journey in Beijing, where we went to a few other schools, and I would say, generally speaking, it was successful. We made some contacts, and I got to get a better understanding of the entire Chinese concept of education. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. One other unfinished business I forgot, was reminded, there was, I'll open the floor up for discussion. There was a letter that was sent to the board members that was sent to Dr. Robertosi last week. It was about naming of our track and I know some board members who want to do some discussion. So if there's any, if Dr. Robertosi wants to just if you could, just kind of summarize again what the request was, and then I open the floor to any board member that wants to make comment on this conversation.
Sure, I received a letter from Councilman Monty Brooks asking for the board's consideration to name the varsity track after an alumni by the name of John Moon. John Moon graduated from Linden High School, gosh, I don't remember what year.
1957.
Thank you, sir. 1957, and had a stellar career as a track and field athlete, participated in the Olympics. Later on became an extremely successful coach at Seton Hall University, and then coached in the Olympics. This issue had come up previously with the board in regards to naming of facilities after alumni or staff members, and the board has in place a policy which says that the board does have the right to name a facility after anybody they so choose. However, the board did put limits on it. And one of the major limits was that the person had to make a substantial contribution to the Linden students and community. So having said that, and having explained what our policy is, Mr. President, if the board wants to open it up for discussion.
I would like to, yes, as a chairman of the Planning and Policy Committee, I have to just reinforce why it is so important that if we honor anyone, it has to be about our children. We are the Board of Education, educating our children. We're not a city government entity that can randomly just, or that should or whatever, just randomly award someone a gold medal for whatever reason they come up with. Our goal here is to foster a good learning environment for our children, making sure that the athletic program runs well for our children, and just making sure that everything pertaining to their needs are met. I will be the first one to say, if you have not done anything for our children, you cannot come past me and ask me for anything. It is always about the children. I also have a problem with anyone who all of a sudden wants to start doing things just to get that award, because there has to be something that comes genuinely from your heart. When you love children and when you love our district, you give back to our district without somebody having to dangle a track in front of you or dangle some sort of reward in front of you. When you love children, you just do for children, especially children that are from your community. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Anyone else? I want to thank you. I think a lot of sentiments are exactly what you basically have stated tonight, and I don't want to just piggyback off you and repeat it, but I want to thank you for your comments, and I think most of the board members here also agree with your comments,
Yes.
and want to thank you and your committee because you guys did work very hard on that policy when it was brought a long time ago about naming of the board properties, and you guys worked very hard to make sure that the guidelines were the proper standards for the district. So thank you and your committee for all of that hard work.
You're welcome.
Anyone else for unfinished business before we go to board comment? Okay. Any board member comments? I'm going to start from this way and work my way around.
Yeah.
Commissioner Birch.
I would just like to wish Mrs. Ormond a wonderful journey on her next chapter of serving our community. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And it was a pleasure being on board with you. Short but sweet. Mr. Strozella, thank you very much for your time on the board and continued success and happiness on your next journey. Don't forget us.
Thank you.
Commissioner Huda.
Lisa, I wish you the best of luck as you go on your next adventure.
Thank you.
City Council. And the next will probably a lot longer than they ever.
I hear they don't feed us.
Yeah. And Mr. Gisella, I wish you the best of luck in your retirement. Thank you for your service. And there's a few retirees that I'm kind of attached to, especially one. One is a friend, Judy Agro, who I remember when she started as a paraprofessional at School 6, a zillion years ago. And I don't mean to be rude, but it was a long time ago. And Barbara Tabersi, who always had a smiling face to the students at school number 10. And the kids loved her, and still love her. And even my grandson, he looks for her, and he loves her. And then there's this lady, Ginny Sliger, who I first met her way, way back, like in 1985 or so, when my son had her as his second grade teacher. And over the years at school number 6, a friendship developed. I was on the PTA, so we spent a lot of time done school stores, PTA. She was always helpful and an asset to the School 6 community. And she's an excellent teacher. But there's one thing that she has done forever, and that is family science. So every Friday night in the month of January, we would go to the cafeteria and make bubbles from a loop, and the kids would be in a bubble, and we made ice cream over the years. And I've had kitchen duty, I think about 24 to 25 years. Dr. Robertosi and Mr. Colobus know how dedicated she was, and the families were out there, and we all worked hard. And it's something that in my life, she's retiring February 1st, so this will be her last family science in the district. I think it's probably, I've done it about 24, 25 years, so I think she's like 27, 28 with family science. But that was a program that had started in the district when they brought Merck in. So that's how long Merck has been with us. And it's a great program. And she is a great teacher, and she is going to be missed. And I'm going to miss my family science class. So I wish her a lot of happiness and enjoyment on her retirement. So, and also on Friday, we saw Raising the Sun. What an awesome production. Congratulations to the students for the great job and performance that they've done as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tobolowsky.
Not to be redundant, but I wish to echo all of Sue's comments. I was here Friday night for the marvelous performance of Raising the Sun, and I've seen a lot of amateur productions and school productions, and it was at a level that I have rarely seen at the high school level. I wish Mr. Strazella and Mrs. Orman good luck in their future endeavors. The board will not be the same without you. You will both be missed. And I want to congratulate all those who are entering a new phase of their lives and retiring from education. That concludes my remarks.
Thank you. Commissioner Viviano.
Thank you, Mr. President. Last week was American Education Week. I had the pleasure of attending School 8's Career Day. They had brought in professionals from various careers, from professional musicians and authors to a DJ, police detective, crossing guard, hairdressers. It was a great experience for all of the children to learn about the different professions that are out there, how these people attain their goals, and the main thing that came across from everybody was basically to study. Don't let anybody push you back. Do what you want to do, what you need to do to achieve your goals. And I was very impressed with all of the speakers that had come to speak to School 8. Archie, thank you for the last 3 years. You've definitely made them very interesting for all of us. You've brought a new perspective to our board, and you kept us on our toes. And I wish you all the best in whatever you plan to do in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Miss Lisa. My running mate for the last 8.5 years, and I have stuck to it by each other's sides. We met on the campaign trail. We took everybody by storm. We were the moms. We will always be the moms, no matter where you are. We've agreed to disagree, but we've always been each other's sounding boards. And I can't imagine what the next 3 years, if I run again, will be like without you. But I know that you will take as
much care of your ward as you have our students, and you always put everybody first. Just remember to please take time for Peter and your children as well. I know the type of phone calls that the council people receive. There are no meals, there's no friendships like you and I have, but I wish you all the best. I know you're going to be great up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn.
Mr. Ellis?
I also wish Lisa and Archie the best. It was a pleasure working with both of you for the last 2 years. And I know whatever you do, Archie, it's going to be spectacular.
What was it?
Different, but spectacular. Always guaranteed. And Lisa, I wish you all the luck in the world. I'm sure you'll do a bang-up job.
Thank you, Jay.
And I also like to make a comment about 2 teachers, without really being redundant, but I am. Ginny Sliger, I worked with her for 6 years. She's the epitome of what the old-time teacher used to be and should be. Her students learned every day. She took it seriously. She had a great relationship with her students. She went above and beyond the call of duty. And for a person who's been there, and she wouldn't even like to hear this, 49 years, she's still a ball of fire. She's still like a young kid just coming in every day. So I don't think she was really ready to go yet, but you know, I guess after a time everybody has to leave. And just diversity. I worked with her in the high school. I worked with her at school 6. I worked with her for a while at school 9 and at school 10. I have never seen a better gym teacher in my entire life. This woman just has those kids loving her to death and doing anything that she wants them to do. And she reciprocates all day long with them. I don't know how you can replace somebody like that. And I wish her all the luck in the world. Wonderful person, great teacher.
Hold on. I just wanted to say a few words myself. First off, I'd like to congratulate our new hires for this evening. I think a few are in the audience that got 2 new hires. Education teacher. He is a Linden graduate from our Linden school system, so we're great and very happy to have a homegrown back in the district. So thank you very much, and to all 3 of you, congratulations, and please do us proud. I'd also like to congratulate our new administrators. I know one already started to stand up already, or 2, but I think it's quite good. You're not new hires, you are new administrators, so I'd like our new administrators to please stand up as well. Again, 2 of our new administrators, David Walker and Gwen Long, are both Linden High School graduates, and we want to thank you for more homegrown talent that we have here. And again, we appreciate it, and good luck to all of you. It's a very hard job that you guys are all taking on, and we know you'll do us proud, and please keep on moving forward. Sometimes on our board, we have good news, and we always like to I guess, congratulate the good things that go on our board, from either board members becoming master board members or board members that do good deeds throughout our district. But this is a very big accomplishment, and something that this board member, I think, has worked very hard for. And he has always been, whenever we needed him to go to our outside committees and our outside organizations, and we had nobody else that would be able to go, this man always stepped up for us and made sure that we were always well represented at our different outside organizations that we have to go to. And it shows when he let us know this good news. And I want to congratulate Ray Topoleski. Ray has become the county board, the Union County School Board's president. Again, something that is not an easy task, because you're working with all the other school districts within Union County, and Ray will be leading that association this year, and his first meeting as the president will be January 27th. I hope most of our board members, if you are free that night, will go to show support to Ray and to show how proud we are here in Linden that our very own will be the president of the Union County School Board. So Ray, I congratulate you and all the Again, for the board member, or sorry, for the people out in our public and on TV, I want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and a safe time with your families over the next couple of weeks. Also for that one, I just want to remind everyone that this is our last board meeting of the year. There is no board meeting in December, and then we will be back in January for our reorg. I'd like to acknowledge first off, actually, I want to acknowledge Mr. Alvarez on his re-election to the board, so I'd like to congratulate you, sir. We will be very happy to have you back for another 3 years, and you'll be, again, working tirelessly for the students and the people of Linden, so we welcome you back for another 3. Thank you so much for all your time and hard work. To our 2 outgoing board members, Archie, I want to thank you for your service. The 3 years with you have been a wonderful and just different times sometimes with you, and you've been great. For some of you that don't know, Mr. Struzella is always the first one at our board meetings, first one at committee meetings. Always has something, he always brings something to the table to discuss when we do go over our committees and our workshops, and all the hard work you've given over the past 3 years. I want to thank you for that and wish you all the best on your next chapter of your life. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Mrs. Ormond.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I don't want to skip over you. I just want to say it's been a wonderful, I believe Dawn said 8.5 years. I can't believe that. But it has been a great time serving with you. And everything that we do, even though you've already stated in your opinion that you're voting yes or this is why I'm going to do something, you were always good at being the devil's advocate. So we always knew what the other side was before we all made that final decision. And I want to thank you for that, because sometimes you don't always look at it that way, and you at least would always come to the table, even though, like I said, you were going to do one thing, but you always gave that other side just so we knew what was going on. And I appreciate that all that you did for us and all the hard work that you put into the committees and to our board. And I really do believe the council is going to gain a very strong advocate for the citizens of Linden. And I wish you all the best. And you're always welcome to come back to a board meeting and be with us anytime you want. So I thank you and good luck on City Council.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm looking forward to Christmas dinner with you guys.
You know it. You know it. Before Ms. Orman speaks, Mr. Struzella, if you have anything to say?
Yes, I do, Mr. President.
The floor is yours.
I'd like to say that in 3 years I've been here, I only missed one meeting, and I was on vacation. Even one time I was repairing a boiler, and I came here to the meeting in no work clothes. I've been very proud to serve on this board, because when I started here, things changed dramatically, because I was a big critic when I ran for the Board of Education. We were low in the standards, way down there. We were very low. Everybody was doing better than us, and Dr. Robertosi came on the scene. And I quickly realized that he was the right man for the right job. He attended our schools. He went to college. He started at the bottom. He knew all the teachers. He knew all the schools. He knew everybody. So he was the right man for the right job. And right now, he's so good that we have a 5-year plan. Then another 5 years and another 5 years. We are building our schools up. Look at this auditorium. It was a dungeon before. Now it's pretty. You can enjoy yourself coming in here and sit down and relax. These are the things that we are doing. The curriculum is improving. I'm very jealous of these kids because they got more opportunities than I do. And when they talk about me, my rough edges, because I'm from the old school. I look at things different. When I ran for the Board of Education, somebody asked me a question. He said, Arch, how do you raise a D student's grades? You remember that one? You know what I said? There's no hope for him. But in 3 years, there is hope. Things have improved. This report I gave you here, it was a very complicated meeting. Basically what it means is the state of New Jersey is not going to lower any standards at all. So this administration hires the best teachers, stays right on top. We want the best, and we hire the best because the state mandates that. So we have no choice. This board, I worked with them, they're great, they're innovative, we're improving, we're moving ahead, the population is going to grow, there's going to be jobs in Linden, and this school system must grow with it. We have to grow, no matter what, because our kids have to see the future. The future is going to be more in the computers. Everything's going to be more computerized. It's changing very fast. So, Dr. Robertosi, you're doing a marvelous job. Keep up the good work. This school district is very lucky to have you. You have good administrators helping you and your support. You got good board members. And I'm very proud to be here to see this change that took place in the last 3 years. And you know you got another good 25 years ahead of you. And you know I'm going to be around to see a change. I thank you very much. This is a great school system. Support it. We don't get like $450 million like Elizabeth does. We support the school system. I do. When I'm campaigning, one senior citizen, he was 77 years old, he says, I don't mind paying my taxes for the kids to get a good education. And I was always impressed by that guy. I thank you very much.
One person, because usually we don't, he doesn't always speak at this point, so I kind of forgot. But Dr. Robertosi had a few words that he'd like to say.
I just asked
I don't mean to beat that.
Mr. Shazella, I'm going to miss you tremendously. I really mean that. You're a strong supporter of everything that I've ever wanted to do and that this board has wanted to do. You're a strong supporter of our student programs, our fiscal responsibility. You're always watching that. And I just want to thank you for your personal support of me. And Mrs. Ormond, you've always been a tremendous advocate for our students. If an issue came up, it was always about what's best for kids. And I will miss that. But the board's loss is the city's gain. So, I just wanted to wish both of you the best and thank you for your support of me. And Mr. Shazella, I hope I'm around for the next 25 years. I have 4 kids. I got to pay for college.
Yes, you do.
I got to feed them.
Yes, you do.
So, thank you, both of you, for your support. And congratulations to our new administrators and new hires. Thank you, Mr. Russell.
Thank you, Dr. Robertosi. Mrs. Ormond. Oh. Mr. Alvarez?
I'm kind of microphone shy. But Lisa and Archie, wish you the best of luck. Lisa and Dawn, you coming into this? So I want to thank you. But it was a great experience, and you've been one of my mentors when I got here. Thank you very much.
And now, Mrs. Ormond.
Wow. Well, first of all, I just have to congratulate the new administrators and also extend sincere congratulations to the retirees. Every time there's a group, there's always one that kind of like tugs at my heart, and it's Miss Tyberski, who was my son's gym teacher. He just has such a fondness for her, and she for him, so I just want to especially wish her well. I'm almost speechless, and you guys who know me, that's very rare. But I do want to say that I enjoyed so much the last 8.5 years. There have been days where it was tough, and then there are days that it was easy. It was all, when it was about the children, especially the children, those were some of the toughest, easiest decisions I've ever had to make. I want to just especially say to my board members, including Dr. Robertosi and Mrs. Cleary, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being a team member with me, because we are a team. The experience is something that I don't think I will ever have again. We have differences of opinions. We battle it out. We bicker, but we come out here as a united front and we get the job done. To the staff of all the public schools, I want to thank you, because you respected me as a board member, but you never made me feel like a board member. A lot of you call me by my first name, and that makes me feel wonderful. It made me always feel welcome in your building. But like I said, I've always had that respect of being a board member. So I thank you. Thank you for indulging me and letting me come to your concerts and just, like I said, making me part of the fabric of all of your schools. I want to thank my husband, because boy, oh boy, there were many times that he just had to do the job that I wasn't there to do. And I never had to really bring my kids out to meetings all the time, because he would always make sure that he would be home for the kids while I was out, as he put it, doing your school board thing. To my family, my sisters, my brothers, my parents, my aunts, my cousins, everybody was part of my village that helped me raise my children and take care of my children so I could help the 6,000 other children that are in this district. I also want to just thank Dr. Tomazic because he was a wonderful sounding board and was such a wise man, is such a wise man, and I always felt comfortable talking to him. And to the late Mr. Motley, who took me underneath his wing, put aside all the differences that had been going on in his life, but took me underneath his wing to make sure that I learned things that were going to make me a better board member. To Kathy, who was and always is a great sounding board, because I go to Kathy for a lot of things and I just sometimes just have to vent. So thank you, Kathy, for always listening and putting it into perspective. To my brother, Mayor Armstead, and my sister-in-law, Danny, I can't thank you guys enough because the very first time that I struck out the campaign, I knew nothing about campaigning, and I had no clue as to how hard it was going to be knocking on doors and convincing people to vote for me. But you believed in me far more than I believed in myself. And I was more afraid of letting you down than I was afraid of letting myself down. So I thank you for being that driving force. I thank you for keeping me going when I didn't want to go any further, and for always inspiring me to keep up the fight because, you know, we weren't raised to be losers. So thank you for that, Derek. I really appreciate that. My goodness, I want to charge my heart, you know, not my mind if I forget something, but Dawn, Mom, in 2007, we took the world by storm. We became the first true ticket, I think it was, that really had a mission. We called ourselves Moms, Mothers on a Mission, and we wanted to just change things. We wanted to change the perception of what the Board of Education was. It was viewed as a group of people that just made rules, and they had children in the district at the time. And there are 3 of us who had children in the district. Well, 2 of us made it onto the board, and we've been each other's sidekick ever since. Whether we agreed on everything was neither here nor there. It was always about the children. And we felt as though we were the perfect balance, you know, just we're going to get it done, and whatever way it had to go, that's the way it went. But Dawn and I were always there by each other's side. I always knew that I could go to her and talk to her, or if I had a vision or something that we could get done, I knew Dawn would be on board. So I'm just going to kind of like end it real quickly. My family, my board family, because that's in essence what you are, my board family. Thank you so much for everything, for indulging me, and for teaching me and letting me be part of this wonderful team. I am going to miss it. It's bittersweet. It really is. It's bittersweet. They say that you go on to bigger and better things. Well, not always. You just go on sometimes to different things because I'm not going to say that it's bigger or better. It's going to be different. So I just thank you all, and I will miss each and every one of you, including our lawyers. And that ends my official last board member comment.
Thank you, Mrs. Ormond. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good evening.